Is investing in Canadian real estate good? And why should anyone buy a property in today's market? Let us see how the real estate market has performed over a number of years in Canada and more specifically Toronto area. We will see how prices have increased over the years despite 3 major recessions in the last 35 years. That's right. Now for some historical perspective so we understand how the market performed through up and down cycles, because history can teach us a lot about trends. If we go back about 35 years, interest rates were 20+% in 1981. Now jump to 1985 when the average prices in Toronto market was $109,000. 1986 saw a jump from $109,000 to $139,000 and then increased over year to the height in 1989 to $273,000. That was a jump of 250% in just 4 years. Wouldn't you say that is great? Then from 1990 to 1996, we saw real estate prices drop from $255,000 to the low of $198,000 in 1996, which is a drop of about 25%. So going back to 1985 at $109,000 and then to 1986 at $198,000 and taking the correction out of that time period, we see that the real estate increased about 90% over 11 years, which is an average of 8% per year. Not bad, I would say. Keep in mind that during this time frame, mortgage rates for a 5-year term were over 11% in 1985. Dropping gradually to about 8% in 1996. Property prices steadily rose at approximately 5% year over year to 2008 when the US mortgage meltdown happened. That had a devastating results in the US and other parts of the world, but did not affect Canada that much. Canada has a much more regulated banking systems with 6 banks that basically control over 90% of the market share compared to the US that has 7,000 chartered banks. So from October 2007 to about April 2008, real estate price dipped about 6% but regained that 6% by the end of 2008. The Canadian market was really only affected for 6 months, whereas in the US, recovery had to wait until mid-2013. Canada, on the other hand, or more specifically, the Toronto market continued to grow from this brief downturn to continued growth of 5% over year to the end of 2015. Again, I'm giving you these numbers so that you can get an appreciation of how property market in Canada has performed throughout this period of ups and downs. Okay. So in 2016, we experienced double-digit percentage increase in real estate price with a spike increase in number of sales to the highest levels experienced in the marketplace. 2017 started off very similar in growth and price increasing, but this growth was curbed by federal legislation to market lending more difficult. This affected the market throughout the rest of 2017 and carried through 2018 and 2019. The year 2020 was curiously very different. Although many thought that the COVID-19 situation would reduce the sales and pricing, the opposite happened. We again experienced high volume of sales at approximately a 12% increase in the average price. The year 2021, real estate exploded in sales with the highest ever volume of sales and another increase in the average price by about 12%. In my opinion, that the reason for this increase was the very low rates of interest available to investors. During that time frame of 2020 and 2021, we saw a 5-year term mortgages below 2% and to investors, that's almost free money to borrow. In 2022, we started off with a bang in the first 2 months, but very quickly with an increase in mortgage rates and buyers in the marketplace resisting the inflated pricing, we saw a downturn that in volume of sales greatly reduced, followed by a reduction in prices very similar to the 1990-1995 market. At the time of recording this video, we have experienced a 30% drop from March to end of October. The mindset of buyers in the market back in February and March was to buy and secure a property and then sell their current one. This hurt many people because of the market factors of continued interest rate hikes and prices that were falling rapidly. People were caught having bought and then not being able to sell their current home. It takes time for the inventory to clear, and anyone who took advantage got a good deal from the stress situations caused by the market. Those stress situations have now cleared the market, and whereas we experienced high inventory of listing available for sale, we are currently experiencing a 40% reduction of available listings compared to June and July. We are again starting to experience multiple offers on properties under the $1 million asking price. Of course, these properties showed very well and are very upgraded. It is my opinion that we are again poised to see a healthier and perhaps slower pace in the market compared to the frenzied transactions experienced in 2020 and 2021. But I believe we have seen the low of the marketplace. As long as we don't see any higher increase in the interest rate or global scenarios that cannot be predicted, I believe that the market will recover in a good way. Now, what about pre-construction properties and how do they fit in this equation? Well, pre-construction condos with the 3 to 5 year building time frame have done well in terms of price appreciation. From the time of purchase to closing, typically a buyer pays deposit to the builder in installments. The downturn in the current market has not affected the new build condo prices because the price dynamic works differently. For this type of properties, we have seen market appreciation of 20% or more over the building period. My rule of thumb is, if you keep the property for at least 5 years, it will bring you very good returns when you sell. Look at it this way. If you bought your property in 2016 when the average home prices in the Greater Toronto area was $730,000, your property would have increased an average of $1.11 million in October 2022. These are Toronto MLS numbers. If I work out the math, this is a healthy 52% increase in the last 5 years, which is roughly 10% year over year. This is despite the year's market dip. If you take a 10-year perspective, the value increase is even more. From $479,000 in 2012, you get an increase of 132% or 13% on an average every year. So this will give you an idea how your real estate investment will appreciate over a period of time, despite ups and downs and recessions. Aside from monetary benefit, there is also the fundamental aspect of pride in owning a house and a sense of security and a sense of belonging that goes with it. History does repeat itself, and our history says real estate is still one of the best investments you can make. Watch this video next to learn about 8 benefits of buying a new build condo in Toronto. Thank you for tuning in today.